Alright, budget magic time. Playing some Eldrazi Aggro. We might... Well, let's see what our opponent's on. And I guess see what we draw. If we draw an untap land, we don't. Alright, well I guess we just go Bloodfell Caves, pass. Next turn we can Endless 1x2 and then Ghostfire Blade equip, attack for 4. Red-white, eh? What is our opponent up to? Soulfire. Oh, this might be Jeskai, I guess. There's a swamp. Alright, so we're just going to Endless 1x2. Now we got a couple options next turn. Can Titan's Presence, a Soulfire, or Ghostfire equip. We'll probably wait on the Strangler, just because it's so much better if we can... Well, alright, that changes our plans. It's so much better if we can activate its processor ability. So we're going to take 4 here, and then I think we're just going to Titan's Presence. Ugh, the second Swarm Surge is not what we wanted. But we get to exile, revealing Duststalker. And that sets us up for the Wasteland Strangler next turn, hopefully. Rather not get it hit by Ojutai's command, but we'll see. What does our opponent have? Looks like Swift Spear attack. Titan Strength, a Swift Spear. Well, they are going aggro. This is an aggressive build of Jeskai, apparently. Leaves a card on top. Alright, let's see if Wasteland Strangler resolves. That would be pretty nice. Strangler. Swift Spear, putting Soulfire in the graveyard. Alright, that worked. Now we just want another land for Duststalker and for double Ghostfire Blade equip. Alright, Strangler gets roasted. Well, I guess we want creatures or lands. Oh no, daggers. Oh, of course. Our deck taunts us. Oh, the third and final Swarm Surge. Well, we're gonna play Ghostfire Blades because why not? Now any creature is gonna be a huge threat if it resolves. Oh, 3 Swarm Surges. The worst of the worst. Now our opponent has... Well, let's play Endless 1x1. And equip. And equip. Alright, we have a threat. And we can start firing off these Swarm Surges. Valorous Stance. Well, our opponent keeps killing our stuff. Swift Water Cliffs. Oh man. We have so many 1 and 2 drops and 3 drops. But we have a handful of stuff we can't cast. If our opponent plays an Ojutai, I'm gonna cry. Well, Blighted Gore. Well, this is not ideal, but we get to start trying to smash in with Duststalker. It's gonna bounce to our hand at the end of the turn, but whatever. Drone. Alright, let's play the drone this time. I think that's better. Play Culling Drone. Double equip. Ghostfire Blade is such a busted card with colorless creatures. Another Valorous Stance. Well, if our opponent doesn't draw an actual threat, we might be able to just Duststalker our way to victory. 1 hit at a time. I mean, no, there's Swift Spear. I almost think that a Titan Strength could be the last card in our opponent's hand. Could also be a land. Alright, Sludge Crawler. We're playing all these before our Duststalker just because Duststalker is a lot better when it doesn't bounce back to our hand, especially in this situation. I think we're going to get there slowly. I mean, this isn't exactly how we drew it up, but it's kind of working, so I'm not going to complain. A win's a win. With Duststalker, we actually have a pretty fast clock. So let's Duststalker. Actually, if our opponent doesn't draw something, we can win next turn with what we got, because we can play another Duststalker next turn. So our opponent, even if they don't block, they go to 10, and then if they don't play another creature or draw a removal spell, another Duststalker means another 10 even through a blocker. Alright, last card was Fiery Impulse, takes down our Duststalker. Which is fine. There's plenty more where that came from. Alright, I'm assuming, yep, no blocks. What do we exile? An Abbot. Well, I'm glad we exiled Abbot. Our opponent drawing that would have been a way to get back in the game if they could have Abbot into something else. Oh, well apparently there were 2 Abbots on the top of our opponent's deck. Follows it up by a Wild Slash, which pretty much just has to go at our face. Which I guess is still good, puts us to 7. And then they could theoretically draw like a Jeskai Charm or something to win the game. I guess that could actually bring up a question of what we're supposed to do here. Dominator Drone. Alright, so I think we attack with Sludge Crawler. Puts our opponent down. Oh, our opponent's just going to block? Well, that's fine. Then we will Dominator Drone. Makes our opponent lose 2. Move over a Ghostfire Blade. Now we have a blocker for Swift Spear. I was thinking our opponent wouldn't block, and we need that blocker for Abbot. Alright, Soulfire for our opponent. Pretty scary if they start drawing removal spells. Or burn spells. Opponent likely can't attack. Another Dominator Drone. Alright, I guess we just attack with both, see what our opponent does. Takes it, put him down to 5. Double Ingest hits Treasure Cruise and Battlefield Forge. Now we can play another Dominator Drone, puts our opponent to 2, and then we'll move over the Ghostfire Blade. Alright, our opponent needs a big draw here. Treasure Cruise would be bad for us. Exquisite Firecraft would be bad for us. Opponent swings with both. Well, we're going to block Soulfire. Titan Strength was the draw. Alright, so that gains our opponent a bunch of life. Puts us down to 5. They leave the card on top, which is also scary. But I think we just win because we have the second Duststalker. I guess we would have won from another Dominator Drone too, actually. Either way. Alright, well, we got there. We both kind of had clunky draws, but we pulled it off. Against this deck, what do we want? I think we can go down a Swarm Surge. Go up a Murderous Cut. And I think we'll just try it like that. Alright. I like this hand. Not bad. Got some 2-drops, got some Duststalkers. But we get to Culling Drone into Forerunner of Slaughter. If we draw another land, it can come down with haste. So I think this is a solid start. And we drew the Ghostfire Blade. Definitely the most important card in our deck. Mountain for our opponent. They have a Soulfire. Alright, we will just go with Calling Drone here. Bet you didn't expect to see good old Calling Drone in Standard. It's 2/2 for 2, but its ingestibility is actually somewhat relevant. Opponent has a Wild Slash. Do they have a Mountain? Seems like they would have just slammed it if they had it. Swiftwater Cliffs. Well, it's a pretty good sign they don't have a Mountain. What do we draw and what do we do? We can equip up this Calling Drone. We drew an untapped land. Well, that makes our choice a little easier. In that case, we will just Forerunner of Slaughter. Forerunner of Slaughter, very powerful card. Give it haste, attack with both. If our opponent wants to trade with their Abbot, that's fine. Yep, I'm going to trade with our Forerunner, so that worked out perfectly. Definitely don't mind that trade. Exile a Swift Spear. Since we have 2 Duststalkers, we might just play Endless One next turn, like X3, if we don't draw an untapped land. Mantis Rider. That sort of changes things. Now we might just Ghostfire Blade, equip up Ghostfire Blade, so we can keep attacking. I think that's more important. They have a Wild Slash? No. Alright, so we get to get in with our Culling Drone, swing past the Mantis Rider. Hits for 4, exiles Temur Battle Rage. Play another Ghostfire Blade, play the Caves. I think we're in good shape with a double Duststalker in hand. I think we're favored. Opponent has a second Abbot, revealing Windscarred Crag. And I'm assuming they're going to attack since they have Vigilance. What's better, Endless One or Duststalker? Opponent runs a Titan Strength out there. Sure. I don't know about this pump spelly version of Jeskai. Well, they hit us for a lot of damage. They are out of cards. Alright. Down to 6. Nomad's Outpost. So, what's the plan? Well, I think we attack with Culling Drone. Is our opponent going to block? No blocks. We exile a Titan Strength. We'll play Endless One X4. Nomad Outpost tapped. Soulfire isn't a kill, but it's pretty good. That is probably going to let our opponent block their way through this, unfortunately. Our opponent almost attacked with Abbot for no reason. So we basically need to draw Murderous Cut or Titan's Presence, and we drew it. Can we attack, though? I'd really like to attack. Well, we're dead to burn anyway. We're going to have to exile Mantis Rider. I think we put a Ghostfire Blade on Endless One. Attack with Endless One. Opponent's going to block with Abbot. Okay. Yup. Now we just pass the turn. Hope for the best. Hope that Titan's Presence can get the job done. Opponent is going to attack. Alright, Titan's Presence on Mr. Mantis Rider. Gets rid of it. Oh boy. What did our opponent draw? Nothing. Well, I guess we just Duststalker. Swing with everything. Well, if our opponent drew a Valorous Stance, yeah, we're still not dead. Alright, swing with everything. Opponent either need to draw a removal spell or they're going to need to chump here. Looks like chump. We ingest... Mantis Rider would be nice. Roast. Alright, we hope our opponent doesn't draw Exquisite Firecraft or Mantis Rider off the top. As long as they don't draw either of those cards, I think we win. Well, we definitely win. And that does it. Sweet. Didn't draw it. Alright. We got there. Eldrazi Aggro. Alright, I'll be back with another.